Hello, hello. This is Murat from Istanbul. Thanks for joining us tonight. I would like to ask you, how are you? How is the family? How are the your colleagues? Your health? Is everything okay? You know, in the last 1 year, everything is changing. Life is changing. The way we work, the way we socialize. So I think the only thing will never change is 2020 will be the worst year of our lives. For the ones who don't know me, let me make a quick introduction. I am Murat Erdor from Istanbul. After 20 years of corporate life, I have my own company named Me Consultancy. I do three main things. One is selling online courses, consultancy, and live streams like this. But I mainly do live streams about e-commerce, marketing, and business life. But this month I started Hello. Hello is very special for me because I invite friends from different regions of the world, which is nice because especially after the COVID, we shut down everything and we focus on our country, we focus on our people. But there are millions of billions of people living in the world, and it will be a great opportunity for us to welcome them, to listen to their stories. So that's why I started Hello, and we'll see how will it go. So at the moment, I also founded a new subscription-based model ready for change 3 months ago. It's very new, and it's not common in Turkey. We'll see how successful will I be. And by the way, if you have any problems in listening to us, we are not going to talk in a very hard way. I mean, as you know, I don't know how good is your English, but don't worry. Don't worry. I mean, we are not going to make it very difficult for you. As you can see, I'm not the expert as well. So I'm going to make it as easy as for you, and I'm going to use the basic words. So today, Benjamin Delahaye will be with us. He is mainly based in Zurich, and I'm not going to talk about himself because in a minute he will be here and he will give information about himself, what he's going to do, what he does, and he have some surprises for you. So if you are ready, if your coffee, if you have your tea ready, let's start. We are here in 15 seconds, not 15 seconds. Don't go away. Hello, Angel.
Hey, that was earlier than expected.
How are you? How is life?
I'm fine, Murat. How about you? Life is good, thank you.
Life is good. You are in Zurich right now?
Yes, I'm in a studio in
Okay.
Zurich, Switzerland, because after this talk, I will be recording a comedy sketch with some of my friends.
Okay. Sounds great.
A video comedy sketch that we will play on Thursday for a company at a company event.
By the way, is it snowy in Zurich right now, or how is the weather?
So it was snowy, and then it's been rainy over the weekend. So the rain made all the snow melt, and today was super sunny. So today was very nice, actually. It's been a couple of days with nice weather. It's never going to be as good as Istanbul, Moet. I'm not going to lie to you, but it's still it's still good.
But we miss, in the Christmas time. I mean, in December we are looking for some snow, but as far as I see, I mean, this is the same, rainy, and you never know. I mean, on Sunday it was 17, 18 degrees, but today it is 9 degrees. It is Istanbul. Normally I am from Ankara, the capital city. And when I came to Istanbul 20 years ago, people told me two things. You never trust two things in Istanbul. One is the girls, and the second is the weather. I don't know the girls. I got married, so I don't know. But
that was the right answer.
But the weather is, and the traffic as well. Actually, in the COVID-19 period, traffic is very light in Istanbul. How is life in Zurich? I mean, for example, in Turkey, the schools are closed, and after 9 p.m., we don't have a chance to go out. We are closed, locked in the houses. What about Zurich?
So Switzerland has been actually more liberal than its neighbors about the whole COVID situation. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, because now Switzerland is number 2 in terms of case per population. So it's not, I don't know that it was a good thing in the end, but basically we didn't have a hard lockdown. So we didn't have to basically lock ourselves at home and not allowed to go out. You know, my family is from France. I am French originally, and there they had to stay home, and they were only allowed to go out for 1 hour. So they had to have an authorization, you know, come out with their paper, and they were being controlled. We never had that. However, now, because of the cases going, you know, quite up, and our hospitals being filled, the Swiss government has decided to be a little tougher. So no business, nothing is allowed to be open after 7 p.m. So you're still allowed to have private gatherings, but no, you know, nothing after 7. No events, which is problematic for us, because you know, for us, the comedians, because we were pretty lucky to be in Switzerland. We could do shows up until a week ago, and I was hoping to do a live show on Thursday. And you know, I mean, this year it's not like our shows were filled after the initial. I mean, we had an initial lockdown where there was no show, nothing, right? But we could still go out, but we had to stay away from people, etc. And that lasted for about 2 months, and then we went back to doing shows. So we had limited audience. Audience members had to stay away from each other, wear a mask, and everything. So lots of rules. But you know, we're still able to do them. But now it's like it's a no-go. So that the situation calms down a little bit.
What do people think? For example, do you think it is really a COVID or a conspiracy theory? What do you think? Because people are talking. I was just watching the TV before you, and you know, in France, in Holland, they are locking down for 5 weeks, and people were protesting. And Germany, you know, already started. And you know, I know that Christmas time is very important for you. I mean, the family members and friends are coming together. But what do you think for the Christmas time? I mean.
Well, okay, so it's so for the Christmas time, I will be driving to France to you know, to see my mother and my sister. So both have asked us to limit contact with people, to wear masks and stuff like that. And no, I do not believe it's a conspiracy theory. And actually, this is great that we talk about conspiracy theories, because for me, it has a lot to do with the theme of confidence. So we will talk about confidence during this chat, and this is kind of like my topic when I do business or motivational speaking, when I don't do comedy. And I find conspiracy theories extremely disempowering, in the sense that, you know, conspiracy theories are a little bit addictive, right? Because you get into I love hearing conspiracy theories, and I love actually looking for videos about them, because it fascinates me. And in a way, it's a little bit addictive, because all of a sudden, you know, everything makes sense according to the theory, right? And usually the theory is that some group that's above you is basically pulling the strings out of everything, and that you have no power over your life, because these people have power over you. And so in the beginning, you think that it gives you power to know all this, because you're like, hey, you know, like, I'm getting into some kind of secret knowledge, and I'm in, you know, like, and this is the knowledge that is possessed by the high, powerful people, but no, I know it, and it makes you feel powerful. But actually, it's extremely disempowering, because then you start thinking of the world as everything is in the hand of other people, and you have no agency in your life, and all of your failures is because of these people that you have imagined, and you cannot start any project and you cannot do anything because you feel that there is this immense pressure from people above you pulling the strings. And that's why I very consciously stay away from conspiracy theories, because you know what, at the end of the day, I don't know, maybe it could maybe it could be true, who knows, but if it was true, it is so much above us that
Yeah.
it has actually not really an impact on what we're doing today. And like, you can feel extremely disempowered by COVID situation and what happened, but you can also find way to react, do stuff. Like if I had just sat down at home and just dwelled upon, this conspiracy theory, and I cannot do anything, and I have to stop all the shows, and we used to work for the same company, Murat. That's how we know each other.
Yeah.
And I was still there up until June, and it was a travel company, so of course it was doom and gloom every day in the company. And if I just had sat there and just dwelled on a conspiracy theory, that would have been extremely disempowering. And I think, like, if I don't know, if you're listening to this and you believe in conspiracies, stop believing in conspiracies, because it just gives you an excuse not to, to keep your butt on the couch and not move and not pursue the things that you want to do. So it's extremely, and when you believe, sorry, I keep talking, Murat, I hope it's okay.
No. Just I said to Mauricio, our ex-colleague, Mauricio Castro sends his warmest regards. He's
cool.
watching us on Facebook.
Excellent.
And by the way, Esra, one of my best friends, she's sending her regards. By the way, people, my friends, you can write your comments and we can answer if you have any questions. If you have anything to say, please write here. I'm just watching the screen. Yep.
Cool.
You can continue. Yeah.
So
today,
yeah.
I mean, sorry. Today, the good thing is, I mean, yes, we are having an uncertainty. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. Not about the job. I mean, people are losing their job, but we are surviving. I mean, today I got the numbers on the TV. More than 200 people died. Why? I mean, people die from cancer. People die from heart attack, this and that, or traffic accident. And there is a COVID, something named COVID, and they die. And it's very funny. I mean, in a quotation mark, funny. And you never know what is going on. So there is an uncertainty, and people are getting afraid because they are afraid of losing their job. They're afraid of, I don't know whether you saw these numbers, especially in France. The number of people getting divorced are getting increasing because I think the people in the same house spending more than 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, whatever, they are getting bored, as far as I see. So the life is changing. So, and today you are going to talk about confidence in uncertainty.
Yeah.
And before we start, could you please tell us, who are you? Who is Benjamin Delahaye? What he does?
Sure.
And we only know that you are based in Zurich, and the people knows that we are ex-colleagues. What else?
Yeah, maybe we should have started there. So, so I am a speaker. I am a corporate trainer, and I am a stand-up comedian. So I do these things, and it's very copied after what you said in the beginning. After 15 years in the corporate life, I do 3 things. so I do these 3 things, and for my speeches and for my trainings, my main theme is confidence, and so that's why I suggested to you that we can talk about confidence in uncertain times, because I use it for, this is a theme when we do trainings in public speaking. It's a theme when we do training in sales, but it's also when I do a keynote speech. That's also what I talk about, how to build confidence first in yourself and then in others, in the world. And it's for example, sorry, and this is going to be my conclusion on conspiracy theories that we're just talking about, but it's impossible to trust the world if you believe in a conspiracy theory. If you know, and a lot of confidence is it's basically trust in yourself, your abilities, and also, you know, in the world and other people around you. And if you have that mindset, it does a lot of harm. I believe that the spread of conspiracy theories on the internet is doing a lot of harm to people right now, because some people are getting discouraged and they're not doing, you know, they don't get the confidence. Maybe they have confidence in their skills, but if you believe in such a theory, then you don't have confidence in the world. And therefore, you don't even try anything, because you think, okay, the world's not going to do, you know, it's not going to reply back, and it's not going to react to my tries. So anyway, so that concludes the chapter on conspiracy theories. But basically, I was working in the same company as you, but for me, actually, until the end of October. So it's only very recent that I decided to go solo and do this, and do this practice of speaking and training on these themes. So, and on top of that, I have fun. I do stand-up comedy. So I do shows online or offline, mostly stand-up shows.
But for example, before I start my own company, I already went many shows talking on the stage and talking about e-commerce and this and that. So when I started as an entrepreneur, I had to face some difficulties, but not much, because I already started. What about you? I mean, when you were in corporate life, were you on the stage like a comedian, or were you talking?
Yeah, so this is an activity that I started to develop as I was still employed. Okay, so I was doing more and more shows on the side. So I actually, this is something I used to do when I was 23, 20, you know, and I did it for 3 years, and then I completely stopped. So when we met, I was not doing any comedy per se. But then 4 years ago, I started to do it again. So do mics in Zurich. So a mic is basically a place where people go and do, you know, do jokes. And so I was doing mics around Zurich, and I was basically. I'm losing my words. I'm sorry. So I was building it up. You know, I was building my skills. So it's not something that I only started a month ago because I decided, oh, I want to be a comedian and I'm going through a midlife crisis. Or it was actually
good decision.
Yeah, well, I mean, we will see. I hope it will be. But it took a long time for me to build that kind of confidence that, okay, maybe I can do this as a business. And it took, it took, first of all, to see some success in my abilities. So, you know, as I was getting better and better on stage, and people would laugh a lot, I would think, okay, well, you know, now I feel confidence that I can do this, because I could do this with a certain degree of consistency. You know, it's like
because I mean, I am also talking on the stage, but I am telling people about some business life, the things. I mean, what I read, I am talking. But of course, people are talking and people are talking. So after some time, after some exercise, 5, 6, 8, 10, you do better and better, and you see people want to learn, but also people want to smile. So you add some jokes and this and that. But yours is very harder than mine, because your aim is to make people laugh. I mean, maybe not 2 minutes like me, maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's to make strangers laugh. That, you know, you don't have any context, and so yeah, it is very it's very difficult. I still don't know why I'm doing it, because
Really?
It's one of the most nerve-wracking experience that one can have. But it's definitely, it's also a drug. Like once you are, used to, be on stage, and even in the beginning, if you don't make people laugh, all the time, but just the mere fact of how I managed to make this 50 people laugh at this joke, even if it was the only joke that people laughed at in 5 minutes, that's enough to give you the drug, and so you want to come back to it, and you want to figure out, okay, how can I get it more? How can I get it for the whole time that I'm on stage? It's quite, it's quite difficult, but it's in the repetition of doing it that that you get better. And you were saying you do it 4 times, 5 times, and I think in one of the titles that I gave you in preparation for this talk, one was the core beliefs of confidence. And one of the core beliefs of confidence is that, if you put in the hours, you will get better. But this is something that you have to believe in before you get into it, So one of the things that you need to be able to build confidence in your abilities and your skills is you need to have this initial belief that if you put in the hour and if you try and fail and get better, something will come out of it. You will get better, and then you'll be able to transform this into an opportunity. And it's very crucial, to believe in that. If somebody doesn't believe in that, then I am not sure how to make them more confident. And there's a great book by a woman called Carol Dweck called Mindset: The New Psychology of Success. And did you read that book, Murat?
No, but
no, I recommend it to you. Read it, because there's basically 2 mindsets when you look at achievements and when you look at challenges. And the 2 possible mindsets are either you have a fixed mindset or you have a growth mindset. And the fixed mindset is people are born with natural abilities, and you cannot go beyond these natural abilities, and you cannot improve, and you cannot actually, it's called mindset, and then New Psychology of Success is kind of like the subtitle. So if you do not so this is the fixed mindset. So a fixed mindset would be, so let's say you want to get better at humor. A fixed mindset would be, well, either I'm funny or I'm not funny. So let's try. And then if you do a presentation, you try a joke, people don't laugh, you think, well, I guess I'm not funny. And then you stop trying. A growth mindset is you can improve no matter what. Okay. So no matter how you start, and yes, some people maybe come in at a higher level in certain disciplines for one reason or another, but you can always improve. Now, can everybody win the gold medal in a sport? Or no? But you can get better at athletics if you train. And so this growth mindset, and usually people who started with less talent, but just put in the hours of the practice, they end up in a better position than the people who started with a lot of talent. And it's such an essential belief of building your confidence, this growth mindset. And I really recommend to read this book by Carol Dweck, Mindset, because it really offered me a new perspective on on growing the skills of comedy, on growing my business skills, and also now growing my entrepreneur skills.
After I started talking on the stage, I think I made more than 300, maybe 400 talks on the stage, and I do love it. Normally people, if you don't love it, you can't do it. I mean, this is that kind of thing. And I also made some organizations. I invited some people like you, and most of the time I saw people are, better than me. For example, they know 10 times about that topic when I compare with myself. But when they go on the stage, they can't talk, and they can't make people get excited. They can't give that energy. And after watching them, observing them, I thought that, okay, knowing the things is good, is important. Yes, you should give the true information, the updated information about that topic. But if you don't make people laugh, even you are talking about the business life, they will forget about you. So after doing that kind of things, 1, 2, 5, 6, and then I add some jokes, and I was just checking people's whether they're laughing or not, because business life is not the best topic, but you are talking about digital revolution, digital transformation. I mean, the robots, the AI, and intense things, but the kind of boring things at the end. But if you don't give some interesting examples, if you don't give silly examples sometimes, and if you don't make people laugh, and it makes it easier for them to remember. I think
Yeah,
the most important thing is,
yeah.
yeah.
And actually, Murat, it's not. It's actually just not. It doesn't have to be laughter, So because maybe some people, they would like to speak in public, but they don't necessarily want to do jokes. But I really believe that you have to grab people emotionally if you
Yeah.
want them to listen to you. So if you're just there to give information and your only thing you're doing as a speaker is to give the information that you have, your knowledge or whatever, people can get that in a book or in an article. So you don't really have an added value. And it doesn't, I believe you have to take people, emotionally. Now, does it have to be laughter all the time? Not necessarily.
No.
A lot of the talks that we see on digital transformation, for example, how do they get us? With fear. Okay. So this is, they present a picture that if you are at risk of losing all your identity and your reason to live if you do not keep yourself updated with digital transformation, because look, this guy lost his job because of this, and this guy lost his job, and that job is about to get lost. And so so a lot of the digital transformation talks act on a place of fear, and they're very successful. They don't make people laugh, but
And the second thing is, Big Brother is watching you every time.
Yes.
Big Brother. Who is that Big Brother? I mean, this is the Big Brother. I mean, you do everything with this mobile phone. You make the comment on social media. You have the Google Map and this and that, and yes, of course they will watch you. I mean, but they are not going to look what you do. I mean, they are using this data in terms of marketing. But you are right. I mean, the fear is the biggest thing for these kind of things. By the way, sometimes I think like people, the example that I give to you. I mean, he is better than me, but when he comes on stage, he can talk. But I think some of these things coming from the parents, because some parents, mother especially mothers, you can't do that. I mean, at the age of 7, it starts, or 8. You can't do that. You shouldn't do that. This and this and this. And after these ages, I mean, 7, 8, 9. These ages are. I mean, you are exploring everything, exploring the world, and you are learning. And when someone, your father or mother, saying to you, you can't do that, you can't, or your teacher, I don't know, and you like come like this, and you started not doing, and you don't act as brave enough. What do you think? Is it true or?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of, and I fall into that trap sometimes as a parent because I have 2 kids. And I am overly concerned about my kids being polite and good, behaving well in society, and not making any splash. The problem is with public speaking is that you have to do the opposite. I mean, you have to be interesting. You have to make a splash. You have to make yourself noticed. You cannot be completely well behaved if you want to do public speaking. And maybe that's why I love it so much, is because it gives me an opportunity to cancel all the years of good behaviors that my parents wanted me to have. So I think in that sense, yes, like the way that we educate our children, and I make the same mistake, is not conductive to anything creative, or because public speaking is creative in a way. It's really, yes, you have a text to deliver and everything, but it's about, okay, like what interesting thing can I do on stage at this moment to grab people's attention? And so you have to, it comes from a place of creativity. And it's not it's generally speaking, creativity is not really a skill that we're very good at in our societies to teach our children. But that doesn't mean that it cannot be taught. I came very late to creativity. I had a first try in my 20s, and it was very difficult. And then I came back to it in the at the end of my 30s, and it's really a testimony that it's never too late, and you can. And at the moment, you put this title, Earning Confidence. And for example, that confidence of my own ability on stage is something that I earn. And if you had seen me speak in public or relate to other people when I was 18, 20, you would not have recognized me more, because I was so shy. I was so boring. I was mumbling. I was speak like that, yeah, I like it. Yeah. Like
most of us were like that. Most of us.
and so this was my starting point. And so I had zero talent for it. Zero. And even, with the comedy, in the beginning, I mean, yes, I had some jokes where, I had some good jokes, but people didn't laugh consistently. And it was, it's not like I came on and I was just making everybody laugh. And it's, for me, how did I earn how did I get my confidence today to say, hey, I'm quitting my job and I'm going into public speaking and I can be a professional comedian and speaker? It was not by looking at myself in the mirror and giving myself positive affirmations, like, yes, you can do it. You're the funniest guy on earth. You're the greatest public speaker. Everybody wants to book you for speeches. No, it's not like that. It's by a lot of practice, like at some point, after 3.5 years, I started to realize, okay, I'm getting some consistency in the emotional response that I'm getting from, first of all, from my comedy audiences, but also at work. I would be constantly asked to do speeches, or, like, Ben, can you do this speech, or can you do this presentation, or can you do this training? So I would get more and more trust from my colleagues to say, actually, if we want this to have impact, let's get Ben to do it. Or so that was, I wasn't the only one, like, because we're a lot of lively people at EF, but it was kind of like it's then I started to see, okay, well, I can do this. So I before, when I had to do a training or a presentation, I would prepare and stress for days.
Really? You?
Yeah. And then eventually now, like, I feel, like, if I have a gig of if I have a gig of a certain importance where, some famous comedian is the main act and I'm opening, and of course I have to do a good job, but I'm like, okay, so I get a bit of stress, of course, because I want to be good, but also in the back of my mind, very deeply, I think, I think I can do this because I have worked hard. And in a way, I think confidence is something that you build in this way. It's not, especially you have to build it if you didn't start from a place of confidence. And I think, there's a comment from one of the listeners is, my dad told me to believe in myself and have confidence. And, like, a friend of mine, when he learned that I was doing the speeches on confidence and a podcast on confidence, was like, I don't understand why you're doing this, Ben. And it's like, maybe I need to tell you my story. And then, his grandmother played with him every week. He would meet his grandmother and they would play all sorts of games, and they would do it for years. but the grandmother let him win every time. But he didn't know that that was going on, right? So like for years and years and years, he would always win at every game he played. And then he told me, I think that may be why I feel confidence. I'm like, yeah, are you kidding? Of course. So some parents are good at giving confidence, to their children,
But in this case, it is just opposite. She says that Esra says that yes, my dad had told me that I need to believe myself, but unfortunately, that attitude made me believe that then I don't have to have the confidence, so I need to build it. I'm still working since then. She says.
Well, so I guess it can have, I think it's true. Like, okay, so if the only thing he was saying was have confidence, then it's really hard, because it's like, how do I have confidence? It's not something that, for me, it's not something that I can snap my fingers and have confidence. What I was talking about with my friend is that the grandmother never told him about confidence. She just made him win year after year. So like, that's how it built inside him. But in her example, if it's just, you need to have confidence, it's true. Like, what do you do with this? It's not, for me, it's not actionable. And the way that you earn the confidence is to try things and fail, but believe that if you put in the work, you will be good at it. That's why it's a core belief. If you believe that if you fail, then it means something about you and your identity, and you will never grow, then you cannot get the confidence, because it's so stressful. Imagine every situation that you put yourself in, you feel like, well, if I fail, this will mean that I can never do this, So like, and I used to be, I used to be like that with comedy. Like, every time a joke didn't work, or like the show, especially in my 20s, where, like the audience would laugh only 50% of the time, I would be devastated. And I was thinking, well, this means I'm not meant to be a comedian, and I'm not funny, and it's so much pressure. But instead, if you don't go from a fixed mindset, but you go, okay, like I trust that if I put in the work, I will get better, then this is how you build the path to build your confidence. And so, and I guess, so it's funny, because you put another title now, 100% success.
Sorry, I have a question, but I think the biggest problem is the inner world.
By the way, I have comedians friends coming in who will be doing the skit. She's trying to hide. There she is.
You can say hello.
She's like, it's true. I told them to be quiet, and
no problem. They can join. They can say hi.
She's gone already.
Okay, but I think we have to stop the inner voice. There is something talking in your inside, in your brain, in your head, and
yes,
talking and talking and talking. And I mean, it takes you deep, and I think we had to stop, because if you continue, you can jump over the bridge. So you should stop.
I've heard this. The only way that I managed to stop it was by building the trust in my abilities. Really, like, I've read and listened to videos for years, personal development videos, or like, you have to control your thoughts. And, I'm doing Tony Robbins right now. Tony Robbins, American. You have to control your thoughts. And because if you have good thoughts, you'll have good results, and blah, blah, blah. I don't control my thoughts. Sometimes, yes, I can consciously decide to have some thoughts, but there's so many thoughts springing out of me that I don't control it. But it's something that I talked about in a LinkedIn post, where recently I had to open for like a big guy, and I have to say, like, so before the show, of course, I was stressed, and I had a little bit, a voice being like, oh my God, what if you fuck up? What if he thinks you're bad? What if the booker thinks you're bad? So of course it was there, but because I had invested, almost 4 years into developing these skills, I also had a stronger voice in me that was like, Ben, I think you're gonna be all right. These are jokes that work. They have a really high success percentage rate. You're gonna be okay. And that that it's not something that I could just tell myself, oh, I have to stop this inner dialogue. Like, it was, I had
You see the
no,
question?
because I'm not gonna perform, because it's like the worst situation to to perform. But I'll try to but just be funny on when I'm talking to you.
But you are good. I mean, I do this. I mean, every this week it is my fourth time that to live stream. I invite people from different cities and we having different professions, and I can easily say that. I mean, you are a man that I can get the energy because you are talking, your voice, your I mean, hands are shaking. I mean, I can easily
Thank you,
understand
man.
it. Yeah. Just a quick question. I always wonder about how do you find these jokes? I mean, are you writing or are you looking around and this is funny and write and add something? How do you do?
Yeah. So one of the things that I learned also is that to be a comedian, you cannot wait for something hilarious to happen or a hilarious idea. You have to put in the work every day. And so every day, every morning, I'm at my desk. I wake up before my kids wake up. If I didn't manage to do that, then I do it in the afternoon. But I always have this half hour a day where I just write new stuff. And then, and sometimes if I don't know what to write about, I just write whatever is in my head, so it kind of empties your head, and you go and kind of connect with your creativity. But then what I do also is that whenever I have a funny idea and I'm not in front of my notebook because I'm doing something, or I just send an email to myself. So, so I have these emails with some ideas, and then when I sit down to write, I go and I look at, okay, like, do I have a funny idea? And I was like, oh yeah, like, I remember that made me laugh because, and then I try to expand on it. So like I find the funny ideas is very fleeting. It's kind of like in the air, and you don't know where they come from. But when they're there, you have to catch them. Okay. So that's why, ancient Greece, they called this process of getting your ideas, it was the muse who was inspiring you, and people made poems to the muse, and they would open, they would say a celebration to the muse, like, oh, you're so beautiful, give me your best ideas, because it is, it is this very mysterious process, and and I think you just have to pay attention to them. And the more you do it, the more you pay attention, and then in your life, sometimes you realize that the funniest idea on the stage are actually things that are not funny when they happen to you. Like, they make you really angry, or they annoy you, or you're like, why is this happening? This is crazy. And these are usually the best. These are usually the best things to give you funny ideas for the stage or for the camera.
Well, my friend, it's not easy. And for example, I sometimes, when you do it physically, you have to look people's eyes and the reaction,
Yes.
whether they're happy or not. For example, I was doing 90 minutes sessions in physical places about some business topics. And I was the moderator, and there were 2 or 3 guests, and we were talking. And when they talk, I was just looking around. And if the people are looking at their mobile, okay, I mean, we lost. So that's why you have to be very active. I mean, when I see that kind of thing, there are two things. They got bored of questions, they got bored of answers, they got bored of me. Maybe the guests are talking much or talking in a very sleepy way. So I make the action. I say, hey, guys, please, could you please tell your name? And he said, who, me? And then you have to take an action. So I think it is one of the because I was going to talk about the success actions. This is
Yes.
one of the actions that I was doing, and how I learned, for example, this the observation. I mean, rather than or apart from making these kind of seminars, I am also going many seminars, and also I am checking some live streams because I am looking for how they do, what kind of things they do. I mean, for example, at the beginning, I've put music and I put an intro. And how did I do? Because I checked maybe 80, 90 things in not in Turkey, all around the world, and I found something. Next year it will be better. 2 years
Yeah.
later it will be better. I mean,
Yeah.
improve and improve. What do you think?
Absolutely. And so for example, the concept of the 100% success actions is something I developed when I was feeling at the lowest point in my life. Okay, so it was 2008, and I was feeling like a super big loser. Okay, and it was just before I joined EF, actually. So it was I was out of business school and I didn't have a job, and I had been separated with my girlfriend, who before I thought I was going to marry, and I had no money. I was in debt of because to pay for the MBA, I went in debt with 60,000 euros. So it was just like, what is going on? Yeah, and I was back living at my mother's, so like, hello, loser, like big, big loser. And I started to develop this concept of, okay, from now on, I'm only going to do actions that I'm 100% sure to succeed. So, for example, what you just said about somebody's looking at their phone, So if you go into the speech, you give a presentation and you tell yourself, all right, now I want to deliver this speech and I want everybody to be paying attention the whole time. It's a lot of pressure, because it's not an action. It's not something that you're 100% sure to succeed, right? It depends on so many people. But if you tell yourself instead, okay, if this person is checking their phone, I'm going to ask their name and see what happens. Okay, that is an action that you're 100% sure to succeed. Okay, so I started to do that, for example. So I was jobless in 2008, and I thought, okay, before I did this, I would wake up every morning. I was like, Benjamin, today you have to find a job, and I would go to bed like feeling, you haven't found a job today, Ben, you're terrible, And so I thought, okay, well, what is the action that I'm 100% sure to succeed? Well, is to let's write a 3-paragraph cover letter. That was my only success factor. I didn't care if the cover letter was good or not, because at that time I was feeling like such a loser and I hated everything I was doing, that it was almost impossible for me to produce something that I would like. So I just said, I'm going to write a 3-paragraph cover letter. That's my 100% success action. And then, so because I did that, I produced a lot more cover letters than I did in the whole year before. And then also I was writing them more relaxed, so I was more authentic, and then I started to get interviews. And for interviews, I told myself the same thing, what are 100% success actions that I can do at this interview? Because if I go in there thinking I have to get the job, it's not something that I'm sure that I'm going to succeed. So I was like, first of all, show up, that would be a good first, I know that I can succeed at that. And then I was just like, okay, I'm just going to have, 3 points that I want to make about my past, about my professional past. And then I'm going to have maybe 1 question that I want to ask that is very important to me about the company, so I would come in, and this was my only success factor for these things. And so eventually I got 3 job offers, including one for EF, so that's where when I met you. And really this concept of the 100% success action really not only saved my life, but just did everything for me. You know, when I sit down to write comedy, like, you know, I was telling you, you write every day. I don't sit down and think, oh, I have to write hilarious things today, because I don't control it. My only success factor is I have to write 500 words today. Okay. And that I know that I can succeed. Well, you know, most of the time those words are not good, but once in a while there's like a funny joke or a funny idea, and then I expand it for when I have to prepare for a show. And then, you know, so it's this concept of the 100% success actions. It really works, because you know, there's been some studies to show that if you experience success, then you experience more success in the future. So, and this is crazy, right? But it was actually proven in a university study. So in a university study, they took groups of people, you know, like maybe, you know, 100 groups of people that had different projects, you know. So like maybe like one main group was they were trying to get more community engagement, and they were trying to grow the number of people who like their page or whatever. Another group was they were trying to set up an entrepreneurial project and make money, etc. Okay. Then the researcher, they selected at random some groups and gave them more success, but didn't tell them. Okay. So like, for example, if one group's goal was to grow followers, they would create, you know, some profiles to go and like the page and make some comments, etc. And some other groups, for example, when it was to build a business, they would make some orders, you know, early on, etc. Well, the groups who succeeded the most in the end were the ones that experienced the early success, even though it was completely fake, you know, and was not related to their community page or to their business, but because they experienced the success, then they were more motivated and they tried more things, and they had more energy, and they didn't give up, and you know, and they just went on and on. And really, you know, when in that period of my life when I was at the lowest point, I was really depressed, Murat. Like, I couldn't do anything. I just thought I was the biggest loser in the world. And you know, and when I decided, okay, I'm gonna do this 100% success actions, you know, well, then all of a sudden I was like, all right, well, it was pretty easy to just send that one cover letter. So then I started to give myself more actions, you know, to do in the day that I knew I would succeed. If I thought, oh, it's too many actions, I'm not going to succeed in that day, I wasn't even doing it. Like, this was my plan. And little by little, this is how I built my initial confidence, you know, is because I proved to myself that I was able to show up for myself. I was able to not just, you know, sit on the couch and be miserable or be depressed in my bed or whatever. I just proved myself, wow, okay, you can do this. And then at the time, I didn't even have the belief that I could grow. You know, like, if you work at something, you grow. But what I gained through this process was, okay, I got the belief that, okay, in times of difficulties, I can show up for myself and do stuff. All right. And not give up. And that was the core. And I think, you know, this is the core of people's building confidence is, you know, first is this ability that, you know, you can trust yourself, that at least you're going to show up. And the way to show up and make it very easy for you is to show up and do this 100% success action, because you can't fail. You're 100% sure to succeed. If there is one chance that you will fail, then rephrase it in a different way, so that it's being phrased in a way that you know that you're going to succeed.
It is very important. Two things. One is you are having enough confidence because in yourself, because you can tell that you were the biggest loser before. Nobody can say it. And the second thing is, I mean, very important. there are two things. You will wake up and try your best, like you did, or
Yeah.
sleep with a depression under the blanket, watch TV, eat popcorn or whatever, and get 100 kilos, and you will say, okay, life is not trading well to me. I am unlucky, crying or whatever, and getting maybe some things, I mean, to make you better, happy. So from the pharmacy. So, but the most important thing is you shouldn't give up because life is
No.
going on, and people are going to their lives, and the worst thing is if you don't do your best, even your best friends, your family members, maybe they will help you once, twice, but after the third or fourth time, they will never come back again, and they will say, "Okay, if you don't do the best thing for yourself, nobody will help you."
Yeah,
I see.
if you don't show up for yourself, people are not going to show up for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
It's
the reality.
absolutely,
It's the reality. Yeah.
absolutely.
So we have 4 minutes, and I have one more subtitle. I don't know whether you have to add something. Bold is not crazy. I ask you,
Yeah.
what's bold is not crazy?
What does that mean? So we talked about it a little bit. Is that leaving my work in the middle of the worst economical time and a pandemic,
Yeah.
that's a very bold move. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a crazy move? I hope not. But the reason why, and we touched upon it, is I thought there was some rationality behind it.
Yeah.
I thought, I think I can start a career as a speaker and comedian and entertainer and trainer because I am experiencing success in it, and I built confidence through success during gigs and success at work when people were asking me, can you do this presentation, can you do this training, etc. And so when I believe to make really bold moves, you need to have some kind of, I mean, what do I know? I guess maybe some people, they do some crazy moves and then in the end they figure it out. I'm not that kind of person. Okay, so and even though I'm sure some people would hear me and say, sorry, Ben, but you are completely crazy. What you did was crazy. But for me, it was not, because I was getting some evidence in the world. I was also getting clients. I forgot to tell you, but I was getting clients who paid me to do corporate trainings. I was getting clients who paid me for comedy, for corporate entertainment. And even while I was still doing my notice period in the work, I started to get bookings to be a moderator, to be a comedian at some university event and stuff like that. So it's not like it came completely out of nowhere. Like it was grounded in some kind of reality. And this is what I kind of meant with bold is not crazy, is that to get the confidence to take these bold moves, I mean, either you can be completely irrational, and I think some people are like that. They're like, well, I just want to be a comedian and screw it, and I'm going to become it. But most people are more rational than that, and it's not it's not easy for them to make that decision. And if they don't believe in their, like, for example, if your passion would be to, I don't know, to do something with the, I don't know, what do you hear the most, Murat, that people want to leave their career for and do? What is like a big passion?
They want to have some dreams, and I
Yeah.
always say, if something is in your, it's burning here, so you
Yeah.
can't stop. I mean, and you go your own way, like you did.
So so for example, like you want to, like, okay, you say you dream of being an entrepreneur because you want to start your own application, for example.
Yeah.
Okay. Right now, I think it would be crazy to make that move if you don't have if you don't have like real life experience that tells you that you are able to build these applications and you're getting some kind of success, meaning success, people using your app and people maybe paying for your app, you see what I mean? Some kind of validation from the world. And with my move, it's kind of what happened. I was getting external validation, not just people saying they like it, but actually, people paying either tickets to come to see my show or corporate clients booking me for training or for comedy. And so, and that gave me the confidence to go ahead and do this. Now, what I'm experiencing right now is that because I came later in the game as you, Murat, I now all of a sudden I'm starting my own little voice in my life at the moment is, oh, you don't have the entrepreneurial skills. So I do have the sales skills that I got into EF and before EF, but the entrepreneurial skills, I'm like, wow, I'm really behind. But now it's okay because I know that, okay, I will figure this out. Like if I show up and, try to push offers in some channels and try to get clients, like eventually I will get it. You see, it's a never-ending growth journey.
Yep. I think the most important thing is you shouldn't be afraid of, and I think you shouldn't compare yourself. I did it much in my previous life. Sometimes still doing. I mean, you compare yourself with other people, but you shouldn't do that. This is Murat. This is Benjamin, and we have some positive things. We have, of course, negative things, and we can't be the perfect people. So I think we should focus on the plus, and we should focus on the things that we do better than other people. So that is it. So it is 1 hour. It has been 1 hour and 2 minutes. Thanks for joining us, Benjamin. It's very pleasure of me to talk with you. And I think you are going to start with your friends, your colleagues, a comedy show in your studio.
Yeah,
I saw a guy also after.
Yes. So we are recording. So we're doing a live comedy show on Thursday. But some elements are not going to be live. They're going to be recorded sketches. Yeah. And and this is, for example, another element of when we went into the lockdown, I decided, okay, well, I don't want to stop doing comedy. Let's do comedy on Zoom or let's do comedy online. And it was awful. And in the beginning, we had a lot of people watching us because it was new. And what are these guys? So first show, we had 400 people. And then second show, 200. And then it just went broop, 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 broop. And at the end, we only had 10 people watching us. Eventually, we figured it out after, at the end was like, okay, we need to make it more dynamic and a mix between, talking show and recorded and some interaction. But it took us a long time to figure it out. But I went with this belief that, okay, like just keep doing it and eventually you'll figure it out. And now, this year we're finishing the year with 2 corporate bookings, like actual, and big companies who have asked us to do the entertainment at their Christmas party. And we had one last week that we had some super good feedback and we got some great recommendations out of them. And now we have another one on Thursday. So that's what we're going to do now. We're recording one sketch that will be featured in the show.
I think the most important thing is the being sustainable, because yes, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. I mean, maybe few people will watch, but when you continue on, the success will come. Thank you so much, Benjamin, for joining us. And I wish you and your family, you and your colleagues, a better 2021, healthy days.
Thank you.
And hope to see you in Zurich and drinking a gin tonic or whatever. See you.
See you. Bye, Murat. Pleasure talking to you. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Hello again. Yes, we are going to move in a minute, but before we finish, please stay with us. So before we finish, let me talk about 2 things. For example, we are having the biggest crisis in the world, not in Turkey, But for example, I started a subscription-based model named Ready for Change. Some people were looking at me like strange. I mean, are you okay? Because I mean, people are trying to keep their money, but you are already investing a new job or new model, and which the Turkish people are not get used to. But I started it, and I have more than 50 members right now. I already started 2 months ago, and I don't have a big budget for marketing, but I believe in. So if you believe in, please continue. Don't be afraid. I don't say. I mean, there is a small difference being silly and what I say. I mean, be careful, but don't afraid. Be brave. And the second thing, when I founded this company 4 years ago, I had a company from Russia. They were based in US, but these were Russian guys, and I was giving a consultancy to these guys. And after 1 month, it was the first invoice I sent to these guys, and I said, and in terms of dollar, and it was a very good amount. And I said, okay, are they going to pay? And are they going to pay 2 days, 3 days? And the fourth day they paid. And I said, now I can see it's very funny. Why did I think like that? I mean, why did I think that whether they will pay or not? They already started with you. They already signed a contract with you, and you are doing your best, and they pay. Why not? I mean, because I think we put some barriers in front of us. We put it. Nobody puts it, and we find excuses very easy. So we shouldn't do it like that, and we should be believe in ourselves. So Kadir Jan, I have been late for this meeting. I am so sad for that. Congratulations. Believe in yourself, my friend. Thank you so much all the time. Yes, we should. We should. Uh, and I'm checking my notes whether I forgot something. Yes, this hello, for example, it is my second time I do. Normally, more than 100 people are watching my the shows, the live streams. But now, less than 20 people are watching this one because we are doing live stream not only YouTube, the Facebook, LinkedIn, Periscope, and but people not much people are watching us. But as we talk with Ben, we should continue. We should continue, and we should continue. If you see the light, if you think that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, you should continue. So no need to afraid. At the end, what will you lose? I lose one hour at this night, and you can ask yourself. I mean, what should I do in this 1 hour? Yeah, nothing. I mean, maybe I will watch TV and watch these silly movies rather than watching that movies. I am doing this. Hello. So thanks for joining us. And by the way, at the beginning, for people like Kadir who started watching us, I told you I'm not an expert. Maybe you can say, hey, you are doing this program in English, but your English is not the best. Yes, I'm Turkish guy. I learned English in started from the primary school, but reading books, watching movies is good. But these are good for vocabulary. But if you don't talk, if you don't practice, you forget. So that is why one of the reasons I started this hello is to talk with different people in English and also learn what they do, because people think that in Turkey especially we have the same problems. We have the common problems in Turkey, but everybody has these problems. Benjamin was talking about I was the biggest loser in the world. Sometimes we think the same for ourselves. So we are not alone, and people all having different problems. Rather in Colombia, in Russia, in Turkey, in Singapore, in New York, because we are all human beings. So if you want to check Benjamin's webpage, bendelahaye.com, here is a link. You can see his shows, and he has a podcast as well. Please check his webpage. It's very nice. I'm just showing it to you again, bendelahaye.com. And the last thing is, if your English is not good, because you don't practice, you should get some online course and you should talk online with an instructor. So I have a good offer for you. If you want to improve your English in a better way, please send an email to me after this show, and I will send you an email, and I will give more information. My email is bilgi@muraterdor.com. If you want to get this great opportunity, please send an email to bilgi@muraterdor.com, and I will send you a good offer about uh, improve your English. And thank you so much for this night joining us. And please be careful about the social distance. And please don't forget to wear your masks. Have a good night. Bye from Istanbul. Bye from